Welcome, sinners, to the Cinamen podcast. I'm Chris.
Which means I'm Nick.
I'm Tyler.
And today we're covering Suicide Squad.
Killers everywhere, it ain't no place to run. Forgive me for my wrongs, I have just begun. Ain't no mercy, ain't no mercy. Got that purple Lamborghini.
First time I've heard that song.
It's all right.
Not too
I'm
bad.
not a Rick Ross fan.
Neither am I, but I like that Jared Leto's Joker is in the video as the Joker. In character, I guess, is what I'm going for. So, sinners, we have seen Suicide Squad. I guess round table, I'll start with Nick. What'd you think?
I think we have problems, is what I think.
Oh, that's disappointing. Sinners, just comment already on what the fuck Nick just said.
No. I'm gonna try to defend DC and what they're doing
Okay.
here, but this, I think, was their biggest misfire.
This was their biggest misfire?
Out of all three films, yeah, definitely.
Okay, I guess. Tyler, what about...
I liked it. I didn't love it.
Man, okay, well, I guess...
It's a very pretty movie.
It is very visually...
It's visually striking for sure. I definitely like all the
neons and the,
Yeah.
and the bright colors,
the
and
color
the flashy
palettes
lights.
and everything about that I really enjoyed. The story's really clunky though.
I agree. It is messy.
Yeah, I guess the plot is probably, I think, the biggest issue for me, but I really liked it. I'm not gonna say I loved it. You know, whatever is between like and love, like really like, I guess that would be me. So it looks like we're sitting on three different tiers here, so this is gonna be a good episode. I guess off the bat, what didn't you like about it? Because I know we are, Tyler, I'm including you automatically, we are all DC fans. I'd say more so than Marvel. Would I be wrong in saying that?
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
I'm right in the middle. I don't care either way.
So Tyler's on
A
our
good
side as well.
superhero is a good superhero. I don't care where you come from.
So Nick, tell me, as a DC fan, what didn't you like about this movie? What just totally threw you off? Because it's really disappointing to hear you say that, man.
I feel bad that I have to say it. I didn't like the villain. First off, spoilers.
Yes, sorry, sinners, heavy spoilers.
Coming at you with spoilers.
Coming at you hard, like a purple Lamborghini.
So yeah, right away, I didn't like the villain, either one of them. And for those who haven't seen it, it is Enchantress and her brother Incubus, who is such like a D-list character. Why would you even bother putting him? And why would you make him look like the Destroyer from Thor?
Did he look like I thought he looked like the Fallen from Transformers 2, and the Destroyer from Thor, got together and had or one of those awful CGI things from Gods of Egypt.
I haven't seen that movie.
Like,
but
I will give. I like that you named him Incubus, because I was actually doing research last night trying to figure out who this guy was. If Enchantress even had a brother. Apparently, there's June Moon has something like that.
Right, I guess it's a thing. So we don't care. I didn't like the villain, either one of them. I didn't like the whole story. Like, the whole plot was just kind of messy. It definitely looked like it was the victim of studio interference. Subplots were left out and re-edited and stuff. So I wasn't a fan. And reshoots apparently had some plague in it. I didn't like. There was something else too. I didn't like that not every Suicide Squad member was really worth a shit. You had your few that you knew were going to be the big ones: Deadshot, Harley, the Joker, even though he's not in the squad, and then some of the other guys just kind of filter off.
This is a very Deadshot and Harley centric movie.
Yeah, definitely.
And not that I have a huge issue with it. We all watched the animated movie Batman Assault on Arkham, which is outside of comics, I guess, kind of one of the only references you could have with this, unless you watch Arrow or something. I don't, you do. But yeah, with so many people part of the squad, it's hard to give them all the right screen time, because there was several of them that didn't get enough of it. Joker included. I know Katana's not part of the squad. She didn't get enough screen time. Captain Boomerang didn't get enough screen time.
Killer Croc.
Killer Croc.
Killer Croc was so weird in this. His voice didn't seem to fit his mouth almost. Every time Killer Croc opened his mouth, I was kind of annoyed.
I agree. It's like his jaw prosthetic got in the way, and thus they limited his lines. And the few stuff he does say are incomprehensible.
He looks really cool in some shots, and then when you can see his full profile, I don't know, his torso looks way smaller than his head. It just, I don't know, it didn't look.
Plus he just had the dumbest things to say.
Yeah.
When they announced Killer Croc, I was so excited. We were going to get someone Nolan said he wouldn't do. you know, because Nolan was like all realistic and whatever. This is something that, isn't realistic. Or at least not that I know of, unless you guys know any other Killer Croc looking dudes walking around. And then you make them like the Bane figure from that god awful Batman and Robin with Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy. Like, he's muscle. And at least Killer Croc had lines, but it was just like reassuring lines. You know, like Deadshot could be like, man, I'm going to kill that guy. And Killer Croc would be like, yeah, bruh, we're going to kill him. And you're like, that's, you know, give me something that shows your character or something. But I did like how he was eating people. Like, snatching guards down. That was about the only
cool thing he did. He should have been they could have done a lot more with him.
He had the strength of the group, and you didn't utilize it.
And
you know?
I felt the exact opposite way about, what was it, King Shark? Something Shark?
King Shark?
Yeah, I did not like him at the beginning of Assault on Arkham. Like, I don't know why, I just didn't think he was going to be awesome. And then by the end, he's one of my favorites. And then, you know, it was the opposite with Suicide Squad. I thought I was really going to like Killer Croc, and by the end, I just didn't even see the point.
Real letdown.
He was a letdown on that
Missed
part.
opportunity.
I guess, now, a lot of people going into this didn't care for Will Smith as Deadshot going into this. I liked it.
I thought he did good.
I thought he did really good.
Yeah.
They kept his daughter as like his his motivation to do whatever it is he's doing. But, you know, in the beginning of the movie, Amanda Waller, Viola Davis
I thought she did great.
She did do great.
She was good.
She got like a gun and everything. She was like, she got in the action at points. She wasn't just like, oh, security team, go in there and cover me. She was like...
I thought she was really well cast, really good performance.
Amanda Waller, Amanda the Stonewall, or whatever they call her.
Amanda Waller.
But Will Smith, Deadshot, did awesome. But I had some issues with some of the flashbacks, like somehow how they got taken down, like, or brought in or whatever. And you see Batman, like Amanda Waller says that she tipped off Batman.
If you're going where I'm going with this,
and
it's one of my biggest complaints.
So, you know, just like the trailer, you see Deadshot with his daughter kind of like walking along like a misty night.
Snowy Gotham night or whatever.
It's like around Christmas time or something. And all of a sudden, Batman just comes down out of nowhere. Like, Will Smith is not armed. He's not in Deadshot regatta, right? He is just with his daughter out doing some shopping or whatever. And Batman just comes out of nowhere, takes him down, and as Deadshot, like, tuck and rolls out, comes up with his, like, cool wrist firing gadget, and the daughter steps in the way, and she's like, no, Dad, I know you do bad things, blah, blah, blah. Dude.
And then Batman says, I don't want to do this in front of your daughter. He just attacked him in front of his daughter.
Like, you just provoked him. Like, you came down and, like, spin kicked him out of nowhere. What the fuck, man?
This was one of my biggest complaints with this movie, is that felt so un-Batman-like. I have more of a problem with that than I did with Batman gunning people down and killing people in BVS.
Here's my thing with
this
that.
is my biggest thing.
Because I am going to try and save this movie for you guys, okay? The movie itself takes place after Batman vs. Superman, which I had thought it was going to take place before, but the whole thing is after, right? They create a Suicide Squad because Superman is, quote-unquote, dead. The flashback would be, however, when Batman is, you know, killing people. He's not the changed, you know, hasn't seen Superman save the world or whatever he thinks he did in Batman vs. Superman yet. So the flashback, you can almost attribute that to when Batman is killing people and stuff, like before the events of Batman vs. Superman. So that's where I'm going to put you guys, and hopefully you are on board with that. Like, oh, well, I can kind of see that, Batman being a dickhead. But it was very un-Batman-like.
Yeah.
Someone who I've watched all the animated series, every movie, whether it sucked or not, and it just was not a Batman-type move to me.
Batman is Batman because his parents were taken from him right in front of his fucking eyes. So what does he do to this girl? Takes her parent from her right in front of her.
Right. And I swear it looked like the same alley.
If he's, if he's trying to create a Batgirl, he just made his first moves because he's just going to traumatize that girl. Like, what did he do? Just throw Deadshot in handcuffs and walk him to the police department?
Maybe he, like, repelled Hook.
He was like, come on, Floyd. Don't be a jerk now. Don't do this in front of your daughter. And he's like, yeah, man, you're right. We're patsies.
And is he already wanted at that point? Because you got to think police aren't looking for him or anything. Or unless, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not doing anything. It ain't like...
In my attempt
he's done something.
Yeah,
before.
in my attempt to see the brighter side.
But Will Smith would be dumb enough to just walk around, like...
I chalked it up
Gotham,
as...
hope Batman doesn't fucking recognize me.
I chalked it up as to, like, his record. He talks about it in the movie about how many people he's killed. So I chalked it up as that he has killed so many people that it was like a priority. Like, this is the one time we know where he's at. I didn't like that Batman took the tip off from Amanda Waller without
Batman
so
would
much
know
as like a
where
hesitation.
I think Batman would do
You don't
it his
know.
own
You
way.
don't think he did his own research?
I think maybe he did a little
World's
bit, but
greatest
why did he need Amanda Waller then?
Yeah, I'm with. I think you're saying what we're saying. Just you mean.
I think he's the world's
greatest.
greatest detective. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know why he didn't take him. Like,
He wouldn't need.
he just listened
Waller's
to
help.
And what is there a fucking Batman hotline that you just like call and?
Like the Powerpuff Girls. Like,
What do you mean you're sure? I'm not sure.
I don't know.
No one's sure. There's no just dial this and Batman will answer your call.
Maybe it was
No.
like she was doing something else. Oh, while I got you, Batman, I got something to
She's
So
like,
I
hey,
didn't-
you wanted those files on those fast guy and that water guy. Hey, something totally off left field here. Deadshot is gonna be walking down this alley.
But detectives,
With his daughter.
detectives take tips and ask around and do interviews. And
Not the world's greatest detective. He gives the tips.
You ever see
bitch.
Batman on the street being like, "Little girl, what have you seen?" And she's like, "There was a suspicious sniper with his daughter down there on the block," and he was like, "Okay, I'll get him."
Keep
No,
this batarang
no,
as a
no,
token of
no.
the
Nothing
gratitude.
about it made sense. I didn't like that at all.
Yeah, I
that
agree.
that didn't slow me down at all. I didn't care about that. I remember the second I didn't like it. It was when they had the witch and they were planting some kind of bomb. You know what I'm talking? Like right when she
Her and Rick Flag, Joel
Yeah.
Kinnaman.
Yeah, and then she just like took off, and like I just didn't see it coming. I didn't see where the big bad guy came into the story. Like it was literally like that quick. There was like no transition. All of a sudden, there's no bad guy. All of a sudden, one of the good guys is a bad guy, and her brother's out, and shit's going crazy.
Yeah,
The
her, like,
the transition was so abrupt. There was no finesse to it. It was just
the Enchantress like spirit gets out and then like what goes to release her brother from the like totem he was stored in.
She like broke that little like
Right,
Hindu
but,
statue
but
thing.
the Enchantress goes back for the brother, back to this same cave, right? Different totem, breaks him open,
Right.
and then what? He ends up in a bathroom mirror in some city and chooses some random guy to as a
Yeah,
vessel. Like
that
and what
was-
was the point? What was the Enchantress trying to do? They're there for 3 days in this train station. Nothing's going on. The wreckage isn't getting any bigger.
she said
They're
they were
just-
creating a machine.
to do what?
Yeah, now I'm kind of thinking back. Like, well,
This
what
whole
was-
plot is riddled with holes.
And then, like, at the end, they have a flashback to kind of let you know what was going on there. But by that point, we'd already figured it out. Like,
Well-
there was no reason for that flashback. It just came out of nowhere.
Well, if we're going overall plot, Amanda Waller pitches this idea to her board of generals or whatever. Oh, and if you notice, one of her generals was the sheriff from Stranger Things.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And I was like, oh my god, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Sad
I saw
note.
that in the trailer.
I
I didn't recognize him in the trailer.
I stopped watching trailers.
Yeah, I'm with.
After
Tyler.
a while, I know enough that I'm going to go see a movie that I don't feel like I need to keep watching.
The other dude she was having the meeting with, or whatever, was the asshole dad from like Halloween 6. I don't know. The woman has the kid, and that's like her asshole dad, and he obviously gets killed because he's an asshole.
Oh, yeah?
That's 100%.
Oh, nice.
And so she pitches this idea for a Task Force X,
Uh-huh.
Suicide Squad,
Yeah.
to use at some point. And then Enchantress goes and starts doing her thing, and so they have to assemble this for something else. And I was like, no, I wanted to see it done for, whatever reason you had planned in the future. Like,
Well,
you had to
wasn't-
just quick assemble this because Enchantress did something that I don't know why she didn't do before this. If she could just, Waller's sleeping, I'm
That's,
gonna take
that's what I thought. Like,
I'm gonna take June's body.
so she's got the
disappear.
heart, and I'm under the impression that since she has the heart, Enchantress, is that what
yeah,
what her name
The
is?
witch?
Yeah, she just has to, stay put and be good. But then all of a sudden, just on a random night, she decides to just take off and.
yeah. I was like, you could have done that. I don't know, so long ago that that it didn't make sense for that to be the event on which the Suicide Squad is assembled.
What came? Assault on Arkham, that came first, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, but it's based in the
It's based
video
in the-
game universe.
the
of,
Arkham
like,
game universe.
Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight.
So while it is a rendition of a Suicide Squad, it's obviously set in its
But that was
own-
such a better story than Suicide Squad.
Yeah, I agree.
Like there was actually a reason for them to be together.
Well, I think the Suicide Squad also works. I think they work better on missions that are maybe more, not espionage, but like one
Low key, more low key.
I guess so. Yeah. In Suicide Squad, the movie, doesn't Amanda Waller use the line, "What if Superman had been bad and like we need a team to like fight him"?
Yeah.
And even
Yeah.
if that's the case, she chooses all guys without superpowers except for Diablo, who even still, Superman could laser beam from 50 feet away and it's game over for everybody on that squad.
Yeah, I was
It
thinking
is
about that,
literal
too.
suicide.
You had 2 dudes that are good with guns. You have
So
a
her-
crazy bitch with a bat. You have a
Who's
dude who can
okay with the
climb
bat.
anything. That was his thing. They literally said, here's Slipknot, the guy who can climb anything.
Yeah, and this guy's
What-
good with boomerangs.
Okay, so what?
Boomerangs, yeah. But I liked Captain Boomerang.
I did.
I like him
did
too.
I'm a Flash guy. I'm all about the Flash. We got to see him in this, right? You see him in this flashback.
Oh, a flashback.
Yeah, that's a good pun, right?
I believe
And
that is the scene Zack Snyder directed too.
is that.
It's
I thought
with,
it might
where
be.
the Flash and Boomerang.
This whole movie felt like a Zack Snyder movie. Very beautiful with little substance.
Man, even its beautifulity does not compare to a Zack Snyder level.
No, I really like the aesthetic of the movie.
I do too. I just don't.
For the
think it
first
felt
like
Zack
20
Snyder.
minutes, I was like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. Wait.
I've enjoyed
Where'd the-
both of Zack
who's
Snyder's
that-
movies better
Where'd
than
the
this.
bad guy come from?
David
What?
Ayer should have had a way better rendition of this. He's so good with ensemble movies.
What else has he done?
Sabotage, Fury, and End of Watch. And even End of Watch is a duo, but the other 2 are very much ensemble movies. And he does so well with them, so I was so bummed to see that this did not live up to my standards of his filmmaking.
Here's where I don't know. I don't have. I guess it's with the movie, but people are comparing this to. It's like DC's Guardians of the Galaxy, right? Like, you got
I
your
agree.
band of misfits and stuff, and I was like, no.
You don't think so?
Why would you do? No, this is supposed to be. Not every bad guy has to be bad for good reasons. They can just be bad because they're bad, like the
Wait,
Joker.
so you do or don't think this is...
I don't think it should be compared to that.
Well, I don't think DC's comparing it to that.
No,
I think
everyone else
people
is
are
comparing
it
that.
to that.
I compare
And
I
what puts
compare
it in their corner is when, towards the end of the movie, when Joel Kinnaman, he finally just like, oh, you guys are free to go. I'm pissed at him, just fucking sad about my life. Throws the device to blow this shit up. They all go to a bar and they start talking, and all of a sudden they're all like, well, we're gonna help them because we want to make a difference. I was like, what the fuck? No. You are all bad.
That was-
What are you doing?
It is hilarious that like he gets so like upset that he just lets go the most wanted criminals.
Yeah.
Like you just because you're upset doesn't mean you could just let these criminals back out on the street.
So he's like, oh, you guys are free to go, whatever. Captain Boomerang up and goes. And I was like, thank you. Yes. Okay, you have the right idea. You're bad, so go.
But
Like,
even he shows up like 2 scenes later.
yeah. And then I was
just
like,
rejoins
son of
the
a
group
bitch.
in a slow motion.
Damn you,
character
Jai
pose.
Courtney. Like, you can do a damn thing right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think the reason he leaves and then he shows back up, was that just an editing thing? Why did he leave? And why did he show back up? Was this one of those things that was cut or done in the like the reshoots or the edits?
Like, bring him back in.
Yeah, like what did he do in that time away? He just leaves the bar angrily with a motive to stand outside and then rejoin. And same with Harley Quinn, for that matter.
Like, like I said, they all of a sudden had a heart. And they're like, oh, well, we're going to finish this mission anyways because we want to do some good. No. I hate that no superhero movie can have a villain just be bad.
Oh.
Like, they had the plot, like the tagline, worst heroes ever, because they're not heroes. I don't care what they're doing. They're not heroes. And this, everyone is like, well, it's like Guardians of the Galaxy. Bunch of misfits and some bad dudes doing some good. No. This was your chance to make a villain-centric
Yeah, the Guardians
movie
weren't necessarily
being
bad
villains.
people.
And instead you turned it in... and then this is where I think the reshoots and stuff and Warner Brothers had the pressure to turn it into something else. It probably had a darker tone, and then they were like, look, Batman vs. Superman got so much shit. Let's
Brighten it up a little bit.
Yeah, let's twist this a little bit and make them
Right.
have
Well,
some
that's where I
shining
think
redemption.
the edits and stuff like that
know,
comes in.
you know
Didn't
what
like
I
that
hated?
fact. That's what brought the movie down for me.
I hated at the very end when Harley delivers the line that was like, you hurt my friends and that's not okay with me. And like, what are you talking about, bitch? You're really gonna let the Joker stay dead just
Yeah.
because you made some friends?
And after Deadshot and her are like, yeah, man, we're all in this together, blah blah. She takes off with the Joker when he like pulls her from the mission and chaos ensues, and then she like comes back, and I thought it was gonna be one of those like, you just stay the fuck away from us. You obviously planned on leaving us, and instead they're all just like, welcome back, mate. Welcome back to the squad. Hi. She just like turned her back on all of you, and now she's coming back because Mr. J is dead, and you're all just taking her back with open arms. Dude, she left you for dead. She'd be long gone by now. She'd be back in Gotham with Joker reigning hell, and all of you are just taking her back. The story is the weakest aspect of this movie.
But that's
And
such a big aspect, though.
Hey now. I didn't say all of it. Just, 65% of it.
It had fun characters. I like that it was sort of candy colored and stuff like that. Assault on Arkham does a really good job of introducing your characters too. It's actually really good. So I like that this sort of emulated it for some of your characters. You knew Slipknot was going to die. He didn't even get an intro. Wasn't even worthy.
I think
Yeah, that was weird that he didn't get an intro. Like,
I didn't like that they want you to care about these other characters that I don't even like. El Diablo, I didn't give a shit about him going into it. I don't give a shit about him after the movie.
Well, he
I
was
really
cool,
liked
though.
Katana, and we got nothing of her. Her sword was awesome. She had the most emotional scene in the whole movie. We saw her on Arrow, where I think her story from this is kind of a little bit different. But she had a cool outfit.
Dude, when
And we
Rick
just
Flag
didn't get
says
enough
something
of her.
like, the guy who killed her husband's soul is in the sword, right? That the sword she's using is the guy who killed her husband. And she's using this, and I don't know if does it trap all the souls she kills, or
I
it
think
just...
so.
Okay, because I was like, you definitely need to put her more front and center. Like, she's got the most, besides Enchantress, which that itself was interesting, I guess. But, she's got this... I don't, what's the word I'm looking for here? Fantasy type power,
Magical power?
stealing sword,
Yeah.
right? And you just have her sideline saying a few lines, but she does kick some ass. She should have been brought forward more. Boomerang should have been brought forward more. There's so much. You didn't have to make it all Deadshot and Harley. And I knew when you cast Will Smith that he was going to be, he's a guy that you want. He wants his face seen. He wants the credit, so he doesn't wear his white mask a lot. And even when he does, it's for like a two or three scenes, maybe. That's it. And I was like, I was let down that you didn't bring the squad more. It's called the Suicide Squad. Not Deadshot and Harley in the Suicide Squad.
Duo.
the suicide pair.
Yeah, that's my only problem with it. You had so many things. You
Yeah,
didn't know who to...
And they conveniently put the strongest character as not wanting to use his power. Like, Diablo was clearly the strongest out of all of them. And he just kind of sat back for 3/4 of the movie.
And then he turns into some big
I thought that
god
was cool.
form. No.
Is
my
Diablo
God.
based on, like, a real character?
I mean, he's a character in the comics. I don't even know that he can really do that. Even if he
I
can,
have no
I didn't
idea.
like it at all.
I
He
thought it
had
was-
he turned
thought
into
it
like a
was neat.
fire demon with like this fire crown, and instantly I was like, what the hell is Hellboy doing in here? Like, the fact that he went all like mega fire lord fighting another giant
That didn't bother me.
dude had like a weird kind of vibe on me. If it was like him using all his powers on Tiny Enchantress, that's one thing.
It seemed like a desperate ending.
Yeah, I think they just, souped it up. I didn't have that big of a problem with it. But then the fact that all of them are fighting Enchantress, who could easily just, it's kind of like X-Men Apocalypse. They're fighting this guy who could easily snap his fingers and kill them all, but instead they're wanting to pursue, a fight. And then she's like, brother, help me. And it's okay, so Enchantress, she can't even defeat these guys who she could obviously, to me, it seemed like she would have no problem beating because she can do all this other magical shit. And then,
Yeah, she's one of the only people that
she's
has
like-
powers.
yeah, and then she just cries for her brother. That just didn't, how did he, Diablo got him, right?
Yeah, he turns into like this.
hulked out.
Like,
Yeah, it turned into like a
giant-
Hellboy demon.
yeah. But then it was just a bomb that ended up blowing him up, like a normal, IED bomb or something, like C4 that they're just like, okay, we'll plant this, we'll blow him up, and that'll be it.
And it conveniently takes out just the machine she's building. No city blocks. They're not hurt.
Yeah.
It's like, this thing must have just blown straight up. It must have been a target bomb.
It was an up bomb.
Yeah, I was just like, you got to be kidding me with this, guys.
Round table, the Joker. Where are you standing, guys?
I liked it.
You like Joker? You like the...
Yeah, definitely not better than Heath Ledger's Joker, but still pretty good.
I agree that he definitely brought his own unsettling presence to the table. Not scary, so not as far as Heath Ledger, but definitely commanded your attention, made you want to watch.
He did make you want to watch. I'd peg him somewhere between Nicholson and Ledger. He's more comic book friendly, definitely more to the source material. Where Ledger was like, "Oh, I wear makeup, and I don't know my own backstory, and no one knows how I got these scars." Jared Leto's over here
Well, we might have got more of his backstory had he not tragically died.
Yeah, that's
R.I.P..
okay. Yeah, that's true. I guess whatever. Anyways, yeah. I don't know. We just didn't get enough of him. I can't say I liked him better than Ledger.
It doesn't explain his tattoos. It doesn't explain his grill, his teeth.
Oh, I read about that actually.
I did too, and I think it's pretty much for the most part what everybody guessed. I think Batman knocked his teeth out after the murder of Robin.
Did you guys see when it shows the start of each person's flashback, it gives like the pauses, it does like the little info stat, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
On Harley Quinn's at the bottom left, it said contributed to the murder of, it showed up real quick. Did it say Robin?
It was really fast. I didn't know if it said Robin or just Jason Todd or...
Yeah.
It was
I
so
don't know.
fast. I watched another podcast on it. One girl brought it up, and the two other dudes had missed it when they saw it. Like, they almost didn't believe her.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure that I wasn't the
It
only
was
one who saw it.
so, because I saw contributed to the murder of, and like right as I get to the last word, which I think we can all fairly assume it's Robin. David Ayer, I think, has come out since and said Robin, and then Batman punched
It
out
was
the Joker's
really
teeth.
quick.
The
The guy I saw it with didn't even see it. I asked him about it after the movie. He didn't know what I meant.
Okay.
It's moving really fast, but yeah, I do know what you're talking about.
It just happened so fast. I feel like they, instead of just being outright with the Joker's backstory, like they can never seem to be, the tattoos on his body, flashbacks to Harley Quinn, like they're just like a subtle story inside of this bigger story. And I wish they would just come out and say, Joe Chill, Red Hood Gang, failed comedian, whatever. I thought it was interesting when Enchantress shows them their visions, right? Like Tony Stark in Avengers 2. You see Harley Quinn and the Joker as like humans, and they have like a kid, in Deadshot's like with his daughter or whatever. And I was like,
I thought about that too.
Interesting.
I thought that it was weird that her vision had them normal. They weren't themselves destroying Gotham in a fantasy.
Was what Harley wants.
Well, that's still
Okay.
weird.
Yeah.
That to me is still weird.
That was a
I
little
thought
out
that
of
their
character.
dream would just be to create chaos in Gotham, or like dancing on the Bat's broken fucking body or something. And instead, she's normal, like no makeup, no crazy colors, normal house, white picket fence.
Leto's normal.
Leto is Leto, probably 30 seconds to Marsing his way through his life. And then they have a kid in the scene. But yeah, that bothered me that it wasn't like them being crazy in a purple Lamborghini. And
That does seem a little out of character, yeah.
I mean, I guess you expect it from like Diablo. You expect it from Will Smith and Boomerang. I don't even know if did he get one? I don't even know what his...
I don't think so.
I didn't really like that part at all.
Again,
thought
another
it was
like
unnecessary.
weird... Yeah, it was like another odd way of like,
Yeah.
how do we attach the audience to our characters
And-
without...
And I think I already said it before. I think Harley would have definitely picked the Joker over everyone else.
Yeah.
No, you messed with my friends, and now I'm a good guy.
Like when the Joker's attempt to rescue her goes south, the plane crash, or she's like down there waiting on the street for them, and it's like, no, you had the chance.
You're free.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
literally
Outta
had
here.
the chance to get. What are you still doing there?
That's what I agree.
Get
like,
out of there. Go back to Gotham. Do something.
I didn't like how they were going to detonate the bombs either, like on their phones. Like, Deadshot could have totally just killed you before you got to that button.
Harley had a phone the whole time, and no Rick Flag or human
No one
CIA agent with them.
confiscated their phone.
Yeah.
Let me check your text real quick. Ah!
She's on the plane and gets a text from Joker, and no one's sister's like, bitch, what do you have a cell phone for? And
Did
who
you
the
notice
fuck you texting?
the
Like,
Joker created his own emoji? What a fucking nerd. There was a Joker
What a nerd.
emoji. He was... And why doesn't the Joker text in a more crazy manner? He texts so like down to earth. He's just like, I'm ready, I'm close, be ready.
there, yeah.
Capital letter
He's
and a
not like-
period.
yeah. He's like good with
Maybe
grammar.
that's what's so crazy is that he
Whoa.
that
That
it's
it's
proper grammar.
so crazy. Yeah. Seeing normal is crazy now. I'm just surprised it wasn't in like the twisted like capital every other letter
Yeah.
or like something crazy. Like, but his own emoji kind of bothered me. What a nerd. Who creates their own? How do you even do that?
I don't think it'd be too hard.
He probably just found
I don't
a
know
guy
anybody
to
who's
make
done
it and killed him.
Well,
I feel like I know a lot of tech savvy dudes. Joker's probably not one of them, but hey, he's got his own emoji.
Well, maybe he, broke into some tech firm, held someone hostage.
Well, that's another thing. What does he do? He owns it. Is he a pimp? Is he a gangster? Is he a mobster? Is he a nightclub owner? And either
All of
way,
the
if
above.
this is his place, why can't Batman just stroll in there and get him? If everybody knows where to find Joker, Common strolls in, right, have a
Yeah.
good time. Everybody knows where to find Joker, but Batman. the worst detective,
yeah, I
or
mean-
like, what does he have to wait for him to do something wrong?
Maybe he's doing something else.
What's Batman?
You
got?
got- Batman
He is
has like
taking
500
down.
villains running around his city. You think he's just going to concern himself with one the whole time?
He's taking rumors from Amanda Waller about
yeah.
hitmen that aren't even his arch nemesis, and then the one that's in, I guess, his town. I'm assuming they're in Gotham, and he doesn't go after him until they're terrassing around in his Lambo.
Well, I think they portray these cities as just being like ungodly huge. You know, like Gotham City must just be like San Francisco and Houston combined. Like,
Yeah, I'm not saying that he's not doing something or that he's not busy capturing other guys, but it's like how it just seems so common knowledge in the movie that, oh yeah, you want to find the
Common
Joker?
knowledge?
You go here.
yeah, common. That's a good one.
Good one. It just seems so common knowledge that they find him somewhere else. Sinners, tell us how dumb Chris's jokes are.
Tell us jokes, Joker.
I thought it was interesting that Common was in this
know.
because
Am I
he was
reaching now?
Swing and a miss.
Whatever.
because he was
Swing
rumored
and miss with
for.
Harley's bat.
We're done with your jokes.
Damn it! Come on, guys.
So Common was up to play Green Lantern in Justice League Mortal from George Miller, the Mad Max director, and I think back in like 08 or 09, but it was supposed to be like a animated,
like the Polar Express,
like a motion
Beowulf,
capture or something, yeah,
Christmas
version
Carol,
of this
yeah.
Justice League. That would have been interesting.
You think so?
It would have allowed them to do crazier shit.
So like the most recent, was it the most recent Beowulf?
that
Yeah.
weird
thought that was
animation
awesome.
one. I haven't actually seen.
I haven't
it,
seen
so.
Beowulf.
I liked it
I've
a
seen the
lot.
Polar Express. Anyways, I think the animation would have been really unique way to go with the Justice League. You could have done a lot of cool things. Maybe you could have saved on your budget some. I wouldn't have preferred it to a live action movie. I mean, and I certainly don't think there can be a bad version of Justice League. But it would have been interesting. And I thought it was just weird seeing Common kind of find his way back to DC after that project was scrapped. Because they scrapped that project, and then went with, I think, forwarded, Man of Steel and their extended universe and things. But I thought that was interesting. Go Common.
You know who wasn't needed? Rick Flag.
Not at all.
Joel Kinnaman. Nope.
What? Yeah, you do. You always need Joel. You need Rick Flag. He's the Suicide Squad guy. You need him. You don't need any of the others.
They needed him there to be the guy that controls him, but he was not used good at all. I didn't care for
He
him.
was poorly used, but I think you still need him.
I didn't like.
He's in
The only-
he's in Assault on Arkham, isn't he? Or is he?
No, there's no.
I
Rick,
don't-
there's
Oh,
no
he
Rick
is
Flag.
not. He's in the Justice League Unlimited episode though, Task Force X.
Yeah, and I get he's in the comics, but here in this movie, maybe it's from coming off Assault on Arkham where you just have the squad. There's no CIA operatives around them. There's no dude leading them. It's just Deadshot. And then you get to this movie, and you got to focus on the squad. You got to focus on these guys.
Do you
It
think
seems
they-
like Rick Flag's the only one that actually give a shit about watching them. The other guys are like, oh, let's just go and.
Do you think they could have done the Assault on Arkham story in Suicide Squad? I think it would have been way more interesting. We would have got to see
That
the
would have
Riddler.
been so
We
cool.
would have got to see Penguin,
I'm glad they didn't copy that verbatim,
Bane.
but I think something closer to that would be
Poison Ivy.
like.
Yeah, I didn't want to see a rehash of Assault on Arkham.
I liked King Shark and the
Killer Frost. Is that the
yeah
ice girl?
yeah.
There was, I don't know.
She's
You
on
didn't
the
need
Flash
Rick
TV
Flag.
show.
You should have ditched Rick Flag, gave Katana more screen time, gave Boomerang more screen time. There's just
I say ditch
you had,
his buddies.
you had
I
a
think
lot
you
to
need Rick
watch,
Flag.
and you
though.
just a lot of people you had to watch that you didn't care for. You didn't need to. Instead of having the CIA dudes like helping them and showing them taking on these weird. I don't even know what
I didn't
Enchantress
like
was
those
making
at all.
those guys. It looks like the damn Putty Patrol from Power Rangers.
Yeah.
And I get you need to give them someone to fight. I totally get that.
I didn't like
And
those
if
guys
you're
at
not
all.
going
I
to
didn't
copy
think-
Marvel with aliens like the Shatari and robots like Ultron, oh, let's give them humans turned into weird
things with lots of eyeballs.
Humans
Yeah,
that have
Putty
to be
Patrol
kissed
things.
by Enchantress to turn into this. All these powers, but she has to kiss all these guys.
Why do all the DC females got to kiss guys to turn them into like slaves? Are we that gullible? Is that what they think of us? You're damn wrong. Maybe how come Batman's not kissing bitches and turning them into
Batgirls.
good guys? Yeah, I guess Batgirls if you're watching The Killing Joke, which sucked. I'll be that guy.
I haven't seen it.
Oh well, cool. No. Okay, well, I have, and I didn't like it. It was just ruined the whole Bat family dynamic. But that's for another time. The bad guys were. I didn't know if they were like CGI or practical effects. Either way, didn't care for him.
Yeah,
but what I
like
did care for, the first time you run into him, they're all looking through their binoculars and you're like, what the hell is that? And all of a sudden, carnage ensues, and you see them all just go into town, and Deadshot just, like, takes the reins, climbs on that car, and just, like, takes them all out. Cool scene. Awesome scene.
I agree.
Yeah.
The ensemble action itself was handled really well.
I wish Harley would have used the hammer instead of the bat.
I agree with you there, too.
Like, she picked up that hammer, and I was like, okay, that's cool.
I was surprised they went with the bat.
And then, gone. Just a bat. Boring baseball bat.
Yeah, the mallet would. If you didn't use the jester costume. Oh, okay, you see her the flashback. She's wearing the jester costume.
Yeah, she kind of has like the Kingdom Come kind of look to it, right? Her and the Joker in that light. That was pretty cool.
That was interesting.
And
Alex
then
Ross, I think.
she pulls it out when she's like, they're all getting dressed in like the prison yard or whatever, suiting up. She throws it down. She gets dressed in this new apparel, and then I was like, okay, well, you should give her something to show that this is, like, we're going to keep that nostalgia feeling on you. Give her the mallet. Instead, she chooses the baseball bat. I didn't...
Yeah, the mallet would have been way better.
Well, I don't know why any of those guys were sent in on a death mission and not given any gear. Deadshot gets guns, but she gets a bat.
They're literally like, get whatever you need for a fight. And so they just like...
Yeah, they don't say grab your gear, like, this is the gear that's assigned to you, that's all you get. We're not giving you anything.
This is what you came in with, we're giving it back to you for this fight.
Right, it sounds like they get options,
grab
and they
anything
just
you want.
They only end up grabbing their signature gear. Captain Boomerang grabs a freaking coat. I don't think you're going to be cold in Gotham. You're probably going to be doing enough action that
you're
you'll
going to be running. You're going to be sweating.
Well,
Killer Croc grabs a hoodie.
El Diablo pulled out like a Letterman jacket. Like a wife beater in a Letterman jacket or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like...
I'm suited up. Are you kidding me? I didn't like that his flashbacks had his tattoos. I was kind of hoping we'd see what the deal is with those. But that's just kind of a nitpicky.
Like him, like... Yeah, he's almost like, man, I was born with these
he
tattoos,
pulls like
I say.
He kills his family, right? He pulls like a Kratos move. Stupid.
Stupid. Yeah, and I don't remember why... Oh, yeah, he got angry. Yeah, he just... Let anger get the best of him.
I said it best. Stupid. I'm not big on Jay Hernandez anyways. I think he's a fine actor.
I thought he was good.
I
like Diablo. I wish he would have not been a pussy the whole time. This isn't my fight, bro. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I didn't like that it took Will Smith, like, getting him worked up like you see in the trailer. I was just like, come on.
I'm trying to get you there.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get you there. They seem to say that a couple times in the movie.
He kept not showing powers, and it took, like, the first 2 times for Will Smith to be like, hey, man, like, throws him against the wall, and he's like, homie, are you in this? Like, you not seeing what we're up against? We need you right now. This is your fight. And
the superhero equivalent of, what, you chicken, bro? You chicken?
And I didn't like how... I figure some of these guys got to have some brains. And you see Rick Flag keep getting taken, like they're singling him out. And it's not until, like, way later on, they're finally like, that's why these guys are after Flag. Because you got a relationship with this bitch, I figured, like, after, like, the second time, you'd be like, hey, man, is there something you're not telling us? Why are they only going after you?
I thought it was, like, the second time that Will Smith was like, well, they're going after Flag. I thought it was only their second encounter, because their first one was when he sort of got close to being kidnapped. I didn't think it took too long for them to catch on.
Where they're, like, fighting him on the stairwell, like, the weird, like, different floors, and Diablo, like...
Well, no, it's in the street, right, where they...
That's the first time.
Right, and then the second time in the offices, I thought, was where Will Smith says something about it. Either way, I didn't think it took too long of a time that it made our characters look dumb. I didn't like how Will Smith finds the binder, somehow scans the whole fucking thing, and then a second later he's like, hey, I know about your secrets.
He's like, did you get to the part where we're sleeping together? Like,
he's like, he
was
said
that
something.
right at the beginning? Was that page 1?
Yeah.
Because
he gets his whole binder, and literally the time it takes to walk from, like, 10 feet to the helicopter, 20 feet back to Cinamen, and he's apparently covered it. Just should call him, dead sight, because he just reads the whole fucking thing. And it was just a minor thing that looked like it was maybe rushed to hurry them into place.
Did you guys think when they finally get to where they're going to, like, for their extraction, and it's Amanda Waller they're extracting? Were you guys expecting that? I was like, oh,
no, I was confused.
Okay, this is
Amanda can't get out of the city, but everybody else can. Dumb.
Yeah, she's got, like, this whole room full of dudes, and she's like, no, I decided to stay and monitor, whatever I'm doing. Kills all the dudes in the room with her because, they're assets or whatever.
They weren't on a high enough level for the classified information they were dealing with. They weren't clearanced or whatever.
And then she comes out, and the whole squad's like, "Are you kidding me?" Like, I think even Boomerang, was like, "I say we kill them both and get the hell out of here," right?
Which they could have done a long time ago.
Yeah. Like, I don't get. None of you could have just quickly killed Rick Flag without,
Deadshot probably could have shot them both at the same time.
You shoot him in the head. He ain't gonna be like, "Oh shit,
I
push my button as I'm falling dead."
I do agree with you. I assumed it was something about like if his lifeline or heartbeat were to like stop, like or go flat. I assumed that it would monitor.
They should have told us.
They could have.
I know, and I agree.
One of those.
I was
they
just
could have
making
dropped
an
the line
assumption.
on that. Like
that was just my assumption. He makes it sound like if I do die, you're
one of
dead
those.
too.
Yeah, one of those things where it's like you couldn't give us one freaking line. All he needed was a line. Easily Deadshot or someone being like, "What's to stop us from killing you and running away?" And him being like, "Oh well, this might have been the smartest thing you ever said." Like, well, this thing's connected to my lifeline pulse. If I die, you all go with me. Instead, it's like, "Oh hey, let's not write this in there and hope no one else thinks of this." And Amanda Waller had the same thing on her wrist. Like, yeah, 2 of them. Like I just.
I guess if she knew that, again, I'm trying to defend it. I guess if she knew that they were on their way to pick her up, she would need one, because you could probably imagine how it's going to look. Like, you're on this mission to save me. Like, I gave you this shit,
Yeah.
you're here to save me. She would need to protect herself by having the band, I assume.
Yeah, I guess. Otherwise, they could have killed
I'm not
her.
saying I liked it, but I am looking
Yeah.
for a defense.
I guess you're right.
One thing I didn't like, real fast, the soundtrack.
I thought
Everybody
it was-
keeps making this comparisons to Guardian, except that Guardian's soundtrack was flawless. And that Spirit in the Sky song, I fucking hate that song.
What song is that?
Going up to the Spirit in the Sky? I don't know. It's like some
It was playing
like
when
some like floozy loosey like bluegrass like dude. I don't know. It's
going up to the Spirit in the sky.
I like that song.
I don't.
why
I
it's
really
in every
don't.
song. It's in like every movie. I couldn't stand it. I was really bummed about that. I think this film could have benefited from a composer though, because this makes it the first film that does not have one. So right, because Hans Zimmer, Junkie XL.
This is a great song.
This song sucks.
Oh yeah, this is great.
This song sucks. We can.
Oh, I disagree. That song is amazing.
Either way, it didn't need to be in the movie. The soundtrack lacked. It had a few good scenes. Like I said, I think it could have benefited from a composer or a score, because Guardians is one of Marvel's only films, if not the only film that has a soundtrack. Maybe Ant-Man, I'm not sure. As opposed to a completely original score for the whole movie. And I was bummed that Suicide Squad didn't have one because I think it would have been awesome.
Casey Native made it into the movie. Tech 9. At the very end, Killer Croc was watching a Tech 9 video.
BET. That's all you want? That's what you wanted?
See, I couldn't even understand him say that.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't hear him say that either.
I couldn't understand it. I thought he said TV, which I thought I was right because there was one. I did not know he said BET.
I did like the ending when they're like, so we did this thing, we're gonna get everyone. She's like 10 years off your sentence, and it's because it's very Amanda Waller-ish, right?
Yeah.
To pull that on you, you think like, oh, you think you're getting all this cool shit, 10 years off, and Boomerang's like, 10 years off a triple life sentence.
Great.
That was pretty funny.
Okay, wow.
Well, in Assault on Arkham, he was really excited about those 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anytime you want to
He's
shave
like-
time off my sentence, feel free to call me up.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, he's just gonna. I didn't like, and I think you were talking about this, Nick. Upon Slipknot's death, they're right when they hit the street. He's like, "Yo, man, I'm gonna get out of here. The only question is, are you in?" And Slipknot's like, "Yeah, man. Sure, whatever." So he instantly tries to make a move, and it's like he does just enough to get caught. And like Slipknot like grapple guns out of there like he's like freaking the Legend of Zelda, and like Rick Flag doesn't even panic. It's just like up, run away, boop, blow him up.
He was the KG beast, so to speak, of
Assault on Arkham. He was the first like guinea pig, and I think everyone knew Slipknot would die. I think we all assumed Diablo would die, but we did not know his story was going where that went. He just 180'd out of nowhere and was like, just kidding, I'm the most powerful dude here. I don't have bitch fire powers. Ooh, fire. Ooh. Like Captain Boomerang said. He turned into like the fire overlord. He fucking turned into
I'm
Satan.
pretty sure he walked right out of hell and
Yeah.
fought Incubus.
Yeah, and I hate that name too, Incubus.
I keep thinking of that stupid band.
I don't like the band.
And I know I'm going
like
to hear
that
it from every
name.
Sinner fan, Incubus fan out there, but not a fan.
It's
guys,
okay,
sorry.
Sinners, comment and tell me how much you hate me because I don't like Incubus. Whatever, I don't care. Yeah, I don't know. Just we got to look at the positives for this movie, guys. DC was the first one to come out with a villain-centric film. I'll give them that.
I agree.
Somehow along the line, it got shaped into let's have them just, like...
Anti-hero.
As
Yes.
opposed to bad guy, which I'm not okay with.
And I guess it makes sense if instead of, a bunch of bad dudes, going against the Joker, because they're all going to be like, look, we're all bad on this. We're bad on the same page. Fighting the Joker or, like another Batman villain or something like Clayface or Mr. Freeze, that would have been not right. You know what I'm saying? That's... You shouldn't be fighting each other. But what they had him doing, saving the city from this Enchantress thing, which that's not even what they were going to get called to do.
But in Assault on Arkham, they were going... Well, at least one of them was going to take out the Riddler.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. But, I mean, I'm talking, outside of an animated universe. You don't waste a villain like the Riddler in this movie to never be seen again. That would have been... Instead, they give us... What happened to Enchantress at the end? Oh, she is gone. Right? June Moon got her body back. Is that how that happened? I don't remember.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I don't know. Just Enchantress was kind of a weird thing to go with anyways.
I still believe Suicide Squad would benefit from a more espionage mission. We talked about Assault on Arkham. They infiltrate Arkham Asylum. In the Justice League Unlimited episode, Task Force X, they infiltrate the actual Justice League Watchtower. Both animated renditions had way cooler missions than our live-action Suicide Squad.
I liked this movie, but the story and the mission plot, that's the weakest aspect
on
of
paper.
this.
It looks really good. It's when you get it on film and start seeing where the cracks are, and if rumors are true that it suffered studio interference.
David Ayer said this might have just been scripts. I don't think they've edited 6 or 7 different versions. He had 6 or 7 different versions.
Yeah, and that's what
I think it was just scripts. Like I said, I don't think they were we're going to show 6 different renditions to 6 different test audiences and see who likes it.
There wasn't 6 or 7 different cuts for Warner Brothers?
Maybe you're right. I thought it was just we had 6 different renditions of the story or script or whatever. I didn't think because having 6 different. I mean, that's a lot of budget work. A lot of.
Well, I mean, if they're just in the writing phase, I heard he'd only had 6 weeks to write this. I heard Warner Brothers just threw it on and was like, "This is your time frame.
Well,
we want to start filming by this mark so that we can get it out by this mark."
If that's true, props to David Ayer. That's a hard task doing it. So writing for 6 weeks. Dude, I've been working on a script for 2.5 years, and he got it done in 6 and got it made. He's a professional, I guess. So you have that on me.
I don't know,
David
man.
Ayer.
That doesn't make it okay to rush a product.
No,
and
you're right.
I know that's not what you're saying.
But given what he had,
But Warner Brothers
awesome
needs
film.
to know better by this point. Either way you look at it, they are getting crushed in the race.
I don't know if Warner Brothers is
Still making money.
Marvel's so hands-on and their
Some.
directors, we're going to do the same. We're going to grab our directors by the balls and make them do what we want. And instead, you need to have faith in your filmmakers. You hire... Mark Webb had the same problem with Amazing Spider-Man. He's like, I didn't get to direct. They just criticized everything I did. I'd send them something, they want me to reshoot it. That's money, that's time, that's budget, that's...
I will say Warner Brothers must be doing something right in the sense that both Zack Snyder and David Ayer, who have both suffered, it seems, some studio interference in their versions of the movie.
Right.
Neither one of them has bashed Warner Brothers. They have both stood by what they've done and what's come out. Neither one has said that. Neither one pulled a Josh Trank and bashed their studio, their backers for interfering. Both came out or have seemed to be very formal, have their etiquette there, the studio's letting me make these movies. We both believe we are making what we're making for the greater good,
Ayer got some input. He said it was his idea for the flashbacks showing how they got caught. He wanted I don't think Batman was in the script.
Yeah, so clearly they didn't take everything away. So
Right.
they must have done enough right. But it does seem that Warner Brothers keeps wanting to step in on their products, and I guess that kind of shows with the shuffles behind the actual Warner Brothers scenes. Jeff Johns is now, I think, the president of DC Entertainment and chief creative officer. He may have both titles. So Wonder Woman going forward, I think, will be the first movie under Jeff Johns, I guess, like unified vision. So I'm really excited to see where we're going forward in DC, because
so do you think you think Suicide Squad's gonna affect DC at all, or do you think their
whether
momentum
stuff will be
This has had a strong opening. This is almost over 200 million already.
Yeah, but bad reviews all around.
Yeah,
On top of the last two movies having
but
bad
BVS
reviews.
had terrible critic reviews. Still made $900 million. You can't say a movie's a failure if you make $900 million.
That's true. And I liked it. I watched it again today, and I think I like it more than Suicide Squad.
I think this
Which
is
one?
like Batman versus
BVS.
Oh, I certainly do too.
I really like this film. It's not going to take a second viewing for me to be like, oh, that's such a good movie. It's got its flaws, but so does Batman vs Superman.
Yeah.
So does Man of Steel. And
I
I'm still
definitely
on board
liked-
with what they're doing.
I definitely liked Lex Luthor a lot less this round through.
Yeah,
on
I'm
the
not.
second viewing.
Eisenberg's
I
Luthor
I
in general
defended him
was
a lot
like,
for the first time I saw it. Now I just don't really care.
We got the same hard-boiled Lex Luthor through the animated series and stuff, and then to have Eisenberg come and be like an immature Luthor was like.
I don't
no.
really care about continuity from comics just because I don't read them. So to me, everything's fresh.
Right.
And coming through fresh eyes, like the first time I watched it, it was okay, but this time I didn't like it as much.
I don't know. This was a needed movie for DC. They were the first to pump out a villain-centric film. I'm happy for them. I think it worked, despite its minor flaws. We got to see so many characters we have not seen before. You know, like Batman vs Superman. We've seen Batman. We've seen Superman. Yeah, you gave us Doomsday and Wonder Woman. That's cool. This one, we got Deadshot. We got Harley Quinn for the first time live action. You know, we got all these cool guys.
Killer Croc.
We got Katana. And even the guy that didn't get the screen time. You know, we got to see them. We got to see Captain Boomerang. Flash's, I don't know that I'd say his Joker, you know, but one of his main rogues. Awesome. I had a good time with it. I love the aesthetic. I love the look. It was a good film.
So out of 10, where do you give this? Where does this movie sit with you, Tyler?
I did like it. I'm gonna go 6 probably.
Go with the 6. I think
I liked it, but I didn't love it.
I agree. I hate that I have to give it a 6 because out of DC's 3 films, and probably in my sort of foresight, I pictured this being the worst that DC has for a while.
You thought Suicide Squad was going to be the worst?
No, I think it is the worst. I think it's going to be the worst. So we got Wonder Woman next. We have Justice League after that. I think both of these movies, just from first looks, obviously we haven't seen everything yet, right? Mm-hmm. We've only seen one trailer, and Justice League was more of just like a scene and some footage. It wasn't even a trailer, so to speak. I think both of those are going to be better than Suicide Squad, and I think both of what's already out is better than Suicide Squad.
I definitely think I could definitely see where they're going, like the aesthetic they're going for the feeling. I think they're just missing the mark too.
I think they are too, but
I think they could have taken all the footage that they had and still made a better movie. Like I'm sure there was a cohesive way to put all that together.
I don't know why Warner Brothers can't get it right. Like, we've got 3 movies now. How long is it going to take to get all the adjustments made? Chris, what was out of 10 Suicide Squad? What is your... We're at 6.
Wow, both of you?
We are at...
Damn, man, that's cold.
I don't like doing it. I don't like having
you know
to
what?
be that mean.
It's more than I
Six
thought
and a half?
about giving
6.5 for you guys?
Nah,
Yeah.
I'm at 6.
Whoa, don't jump up the whole scale like that. What do you...
Harley,
No, I'm saying-
Harley got it
I'm
up to
saying,
a 6.
could you be persuaded to 6.5?
They're jumping way too far.
This isn't a bidding.
No?
This
Way
isn't a
too-
bidding war.
Okay, I'm gonna put this like an 8 for me.
Okay.
You're going to go with an 8?
The
You know
story-
that's right below 9?
Well, you know what?
I will think
At
most
least there's
times
something we
it's
finally
right
agree
below
about.
9.
That's true. All this did was unify me and Cinamen Tyler's view on things and made you the outcast.
You know what?
How does it feel? How does it feel from the outside?
You know,
Look at
I'm
that
just a
loser
true,
over
I'm
there.
a true
Yeah, look at
DC
him.
fan, and you two are too busy playing with Marvel's balls to
You bite your tongue.
No, you take that DC shirt off right now.
Look, my tattoo is bleeding because you said words like that. So
Well,
can
that
you stop? You're hurting
you
me.
made your own tattoo bleed.
About to be a
You
sin
took
of
a
murder
knife
up
to your
in
own
here.
tattoo. Cut that damn tattoo off. Give it to me.
Look,
Give it
Ryan
here.
Reynolds already made me question my whole life. I about cheese grated it right off my body.
I wanted to cheese grate it for you. Okay? And I think they're purposely postponing Green Lantern because they're like, let's put 10, 11, 12, 15 years between us and Reynolds' shitty-ass Green Lantern. Because you got Green Lantern Corps in 2020. God, I don't want to wait that long.
I sort of dabbled on it earlier. Scott Eastwood was actually one in my head, one of my big contenders for the Green Lantern role. So I was really...
Well, do you think Reynolds ruined Green Lantern, or do you think the studio and the directors and the story ruined it? Because he obviously did okay as Deadpool. He can obviously play a superhero.
Reynolds has been
I
Deadpool
think Reynolds-
since he's been Van Wilder, okay?
I think Reynolds is a good actor. Have you guys
So do
seen
I. He was terrible Hal
the
Jordan.
voices?
No.
The voice?
I agree. Everything you guys just said. Terrible Hal Jordan. Because we just got Ryan Reynolds playing Ryan Reynolds in a Green Lantern outfit.
And yeah, we did. And I would have been fine with if they decided to pursue Green Lantern 2, and let's say they turn Hal Jordan from the whiny bitch he was in the movie to the cocky, more comic book appropriate guy. Reynolds could probably do that, but we didn't get to see him.
Too
And it
little, too
blew his
late, my man.
chances.
Too little, too late.
And he took it all on DC. It's understandable, I guess. You're just doing what the director said or whatever. But then now he's all like, Marvel, this is my home. And I'm like, DC, you let one slip through the cracks.
20th Century Fox is my home.
He's just, I don't know.
No one ever. Except for Wolverine, I guess.
Yeah, Wolverine and Deadpool.
Hugh Jackman.
But back to your question, I'm going to give this an 8.
Yeah.
An 8
You're
out
gonna
of
give
10.
it an 8. Okay.
Can we let's take a second to talk about the main prison guard that was talking to them?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say.
I don't remember his name.
His name is Ike Barinholtz.
Was he the one in? He was the one in
Neighbors.
Rogan's friend in Neighbors. Oh my god, I was like, dude.
Oh, what? You liked him?
I thought he was funny.
He was
He's like,
okay.
I got too much
It's like
of him in
he's-
this movie.
he was like
He was
trying
barely
to
in it.
like.
He dominated the first 20 minutes of it.
He's trying to like smooth talk Harley Quinn, she's like, "Come on, get in here. What are you scared?" And he's like, like you put 5 of my men in the hospital. I'm not gonna come play with you today. I thought it was funny.
What did?
Again, though, when they're walking out to get them on their airplane shuttle,
He
whatever
slips
it is,
Harley the phone.
slips to the phone. No one sees that.
He's talking about it out loud. Like
Yeah.
he's not even trying to
It ain't
mute
like
his voice.
Harley. Joker's gonna come for you. He's like, Harley. Joker will be on his way, okay?
Mr. J on
Put in
his
a good
way.
word for
Yeah.
me.
Like, that was my only issue with the movie. She's doing all this stuff that's like, no one's listening. Rick Flag doesn't at once think like, oh shit, Joker's on his way. Oh man, we should either, I don't know, kill Harley or do, contain her, do something. I just thought the guy, what did we say his name was?
His name is Ike Barinholtz, I think.
I thought he was a cool addition, man. I liked.
He was fine.
Like I said, I had strong supporting cast. I like the soundtrack, despite what you hate, Nick. The plot was the weakest part, but I gotta say, I like this movie a lot, guys. This was
But the plot is
not
the
a
whole
failure to me.
driving force of the movie.
The plot has been DC's
But there's
problem.
been
It's
with
like
every
that
movie.
that car was really good, but the wheels were just like the tires were flat.
No, but
It
there's
was a great car, but
there's
the tires
movies
were
with
just flat.
shitty plots, but
We're not
everything
going
else
very
around it
fast, and we're
makes
not
it work.
getting anywhere.
Where does this movie sit out of the 3 that are out for DC? Where?
I'll put it above the first Superman, but I don't like Superman though.
Yeah, you are.
That's
very-
why I like BVS. I love seeing Superman darker, and I know that's why most people didn't like it.
I didn't like how the strongest guy
But I don't
just
like
gets
the
his ass kicked the whole movie.
I hate Boy Scout superheroes. So boring.
Well, I think we're going to see more
Captain
Boy
America?
Scout
I'm looking at
Superman
you.
when he comes back on the screen. So, I think this is their chance to show like Superman's going to be that upbeat, optimistic guy that he is in the comics going forward, because it's like dead and came back, and all that other stuff. I think we're going to see Batman.
I hope
like,
he's even darker.
That'd be cool. I was all aboard the Dark Universe shit, and every other
I love it.
guy that doesn't like Marvel's
That's
like
what makes
Disney
Watchmen
happy
so good,
formula just hated it, and I'm like, you guys, I hate seeing.
But BVS had a lot of problems.
It did have its problems, and this has its problems too. Man of Steel has its problems, but so does every other Marvel movie. We've talked about it.
I like that DC is trying to make you. Is not trying to spoon feed you the entire plot and features of the movie like Marvel does. I feel like Marvel coddles its audience too much, and I like that DC in its attempt to be dark